Hey guys, Scott Layton here, My Expat Life. I'm in front of the Tirana pyramid here in Tirana, Albania. This is my week 7 since I've been here in country, and I wanted to give you a larger vlog update, what I've been thinking about, how I've been feeling. So I thought I'd start that here in front of one of my most popular videos thus far, my 360 video, after I first got into the city. It is a cold and blustery day here in Tirana and very windy, so I hope you don't mind if my hair gets messed up. It's gotten messed up in a lot of videos so far. First, I just wanted to talk to you about my health. I have gotten over my bronchitis and sinusitis, as I've mentioned. It got better sometime last week. But I've still had sinus headaches since. My throat's been sore. I still have some nasal congestion. I just can't seem to get rid of it for some reason. Being in an Airbnb with a lot of mold and having to keep the windows open for circulation certainly hasn't helped. I am heading over to Korçë next Sunday on the 31st, and I'm really looking forward to that. Korçë is about 60,000 people in comparison to the about 320,000 people here in Tirana. It should be a lot quieter. So to that end, I wanted to talk to you about my thoughts about Tirana. It is a beautiful city in the center, in the Bloku neighborhood where I've been staying. But honestly, as far as everything else, I've had a really hard time adjusting. My senses have been in overdrive. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the noise. Nearly every night I'm woken up by honking. It's gotten so bad at this point that I've had to sleep with brown noise every night. There's this one video I watch, I'll put the link below. It really helps me sleep. I've given that guy hours and hours of views since I got here. The sights have been interesting as well. Especially the people. There are just so many more people here than what I'm used to. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the population here is about 150,000 people more. There are always people, especially on the sidewalks, driving. This place just has not been very conducive to peace and quiet. Other than that, as far as the beauty of Tirana, the further out you go, the more you see the economic disparities. The architecture gets worse. The smells in the city have been a bit much also for me to deal with. There is a lot of wood-fired stoves in Tirana, I presume primarily from restaurants, which smells beautiful, but it's just overstimulated kind of place, and I'm not used to that being from a place like Pittsburgh. I joke that I'm kind of a hick at heart. Not that Pittsburgh is like that, but I'm used to things that are smaller scale. And as you can see behind me, there are like skyscrapers next to smaller buildings. The scale here is a little off. I'm just not used to it. The architecture can be new in one place and then immediately next to it something smaller and older. It's definitely a city in transition. Also, I've noticed that there aren't as many like cultural things to do in Tirana. I've pretty much been to all the major sites in the city already. I haven't ventured out too far to the ones outside of the city other than to Mount Daci, which you can see a little bit in the background behind me. For a city this size, I would have thought there'd be more things to do. It seems like a lot of the locals here spend a lot of their free time either at home or strolling, which is great. or at coffee shops or restaurants and bars, which gets expensive very quickly. I've heard that a lot of people can go to a coffee shop and spend hours there every day. I haven't really partook because I don't really have many friends here. I only really have one friend that I've hung out with and some acquaintances. So hopefully I get some more friends when I go over to Korçë. But it's just been a city that's really just bombarded my senses completely from different perspectives. And I'm one of those people that kind of bothers me. I'm very in tuned and sensitive to sights and sounds and loud noises and smells. So that's on me. So other people wouldn't necessarily have that issue. But I mean, like, this is the first place I've been to in a long time that's relatively quiet, but you can still hear like honking in the background. Even going to the Grand Park of Tirana, there's construction nearby and it's loud. It's just one of those places you just can't escape it all. So I'm hoping Korçë, which is a lot smaller, will be better for me. And I know that it's difficult coming to a new city in a new country, not speaking the language, so there's all those issues as well, but I'm not even talking about that necessarily. I haven't been great, to be honest with you, on things like minding my temperance and trigger control. There's a lot of pastry shops and gelato stands and places you can get street food here that isn't necessarily as healthy as something you'd cook at home. And I found that to be difficult because I don't normally eat things like sweets and a lot of junk food, but I've been eating a lot more food that isn't healthy for me. So one of the things I do plan to do while I'm here is to start a Mediterranean diet. It was one of the goals I had when I moved to the Mediterranean. So at this point I'm eating a lot less meat. I'm going to be talking about that in a future video. I am eating a lot of fresh bread. They have great bakeries here as well as pastry shops. I am eating a lot of fruit and veg. I'm going to be eating even more. I also am going to be eating some beans and rice. I don't really cook beans and rice normally. So what I'll probably end up doing is like mixing it with onions and peppers and garlic and doing things like that. Since I am going to be moving a lot in the next few years, you know, month to month, or stays for, you know, a few months at most, what I've decided to do to save money and to be frugal and conscious is to buy things when I get to a new city. So I'll be buying things like my olive oil, pepper, my garlic, my oregano, things that I'll use while I am in that stay. So that way I'm not necessarily wasting money by going and leaving things behind every time I go to a new place. If I buy it immediately once I get there and then just conserve and ration, I should be saving money in the long run. I don't want to go out to eat all the time. So far I've only been out to eat, I think, 5 times since I've been here in 7 weeks. For a couple of reasons. One, I think it's a waste of money. But 2, when you do something all the time, you don't really appreciate it as much. It just becomes one of those things that you just do. So I try to ration my joy, but by doing that, I think I enjoy things more that way. And also, it's just healthier because when you're eating a lot of places outside, restaurants or street food, you're not really getting necessarily the freshest foods. You're not necessarily sure what's in it. A lot of the foods can be unhealthy for you, especially the way they're prepared. So by doing it myself, I have a lot more control over it. And as you've heard, the Mediterranean diet is really one of the best diets out there. Getting rid of things like the trans fats, getting rid of things like heavy meat consumption, getting rid of things like processed foods. All of those things can cause various damages to your body, including cancer and heart issues. So I think eating more sustainably, eating more local, eating fresher, eating healthier is a good thing that I want to do for myself. And honestly, it's good for the environment and for the climate. So that's one of my next goals. I've been doing a lot of thinking when I can, and a lot of my videos have been more contemplative since I got here than what I was necessarily doing before I got to Albania, and I'll be continuing that trend because there's so much going on right now that I think we really need to go and spend more time thinking about. Sorry, more background noise. In addition to that, I think it's been very difficult for me, as it has been for most people, with what's happening in the world today, with the divisive politics, with ICE, with the killing of good in Minnesota, and basically the takeover of that entire state. It's been very concerning. That on top of what's happening in Gaza, that on top of the threats of Greenland, that on top of the devastation in Ukraine. We live in a very unjust world, in a world that seems to be breaking apart at the seams. The world-based order is falling apart, and I don't know if anyone knows what to expect. And a lot of us are worrying about what we can do about it. Yeah, it's gotten very windy. So those things have been on my mind a lot, and I'm sure a lot of those things have been on yours as well. I've done a few videos on that. Probably my most important and consequential is Before the Fire. If I can suggest that to you, I highly recommend that video. It's something that I don't think has been explored as much as it could be. It's just been a very weird time for me, and I'm looking forward to a little bit more peace and quiet in a place like Korçë, living a more grounded life, living a more sustainable life with a lower footprint, carbon footprint, and hopefully just taking care of myself a little bit more, eating healthier, not as much junk food. Like I spent one night, I ended up working on that video that I was talking about Before the Fire, pretty much all night, and I only got 2.5 hours of sleep. I should have known better. I've been getting a lot less sleep since I've been here, primarily because of the noise, but doing things like that hasn't helped either. So I really want to go and just take better care of myself, and I'm looking forward to that. I guess that's all I really have to say at this point. I will be doing some more videos this week, so check them out. And again, if you haven't checked out Before the Fire, I definitely recommend that. Take care, guys, and have a great day.